event commenced somewhere in 1991, when at that time there was a lull in that way that Carnival was not going to be kept that year, as we understood. And we felt as hoteliers or persons within the industry that we wanted to have a lift. We wanted to keep some verve to at least keep the visitors who would normally come for Carnival to come into the island, and also to keep everybody upbeat, noting that we probably would have been amiss of our tradition, which is Carnival. And so in that year we hosted the first ever Miss SLHTA. If I recall well, the winner came from, it was Hotel Talk at the time, Kunad Hotel Talk. I think her name was Charmaine. Yeah, she emerged as the winner. And it was a very great spectacle. It actually encouraged us to continue to make it an annual event because of the way the public responded to it. When we first did it, we didn't anticipate that it was going to come out this way. It was going to be so well received, albeit it was a really good show. But then after that first attempt, we realized that, well, we can do something and can create a purpose for it. And as such, we decided, well, we will do it to raise funds going forward for the children whose parents work at the industry, in order to provide them, or as many of them as we possibly could, with scholarships. By, of course, seeking to educate persons whose parents are in the industry, we hope that it would obviously push them into the industry as well, because the industry is always in need of intelligence, persons who have the right kind of demeanor for it. As you know, it's a hospitality industry, and it augurs to serve guests and and to meet their or exceed their expectations. So in one area, we think that in creating funds, to making scholarships accessible to those persons would help uplift and mobilize the industry. And on the other hand, we think that maximizing the talents that our contestants, and in particular the staff shows that perform and complement this whole show, the talents that they bring to the fore would help them develop themselves, and as a result it would help them produce shows that will want people to become more and more involved. The entirety of this, in terms of a purpose, is to ensure that St. Lucians understand that there is a link between tourism, hospitality, and the people, the contents thereof of the nation, so that everybody will get on board. Because we live in a service environment, we live in a service period, and it's important to us, particularly since we depend a lot on importation as we speak right now. It's important to us to understand how our service can bring austerity to our shores. Nothing good or nothing excellent comes without challenges. I think the biggest challenge of all for our show this year is the fact that we are going through what is felt as economic declines. It's world over, it's global. There's nobody to blame but everybody to come together and work towards making recovery possible. At this point, I know a lot of our membership are at this point struggling to keep afloat within this economic dismal times, if you care to call it that. I think that the fact that we're able to have 5 contestants shows a certain amount of resilience. It shows a certain amount of support within our membership towards this goal. And I commend them highly, because at this point in time everybody's saying, no, I can't, because of the constraints that they're having. But it's good to note that part of our membership will do what it takes to ensure that our message towards keeping our nation positive in the quest to ensuring that many more visitors discover our shores and come and spend time with us, and as well bring a healthier dose of what we consider economic compensation to our shores. And I think at this time, this is where we say that we cannot just sit and say, well, things are tough, we're going to get up, bite the bullet, fight it. And kudos to those persons who already made their mark by setting out a resource for our contestants or competition, as well as the sponsorships. For those who've sponsored so far, we thank them, and we look for many more to come on board and still make this yet another show, yet another year for our masses.
I mean, it only goes without saying that Miss Sandals Resorts Gladys Noel will win the title this year. I mean, she's very eloquent, she's very poised, extremely talented. Of course, she has some very high stilettos to fill, but I am predicting that she will give a great show, as will the other contestants. I'm sure that they have their chaperones, they have their teams, they're all getting prepared. It's very tense, it's very stressful, but what I can ask for the young ladies to do, to take a moment and smell the roses or the bougainvilleas in our part of the world. Enjoy the experience, because what you really take with you, win or lose, is the memories that you've created for yourself, and really want them to be proud of whatever it is that they are able to accomplish after the pageant, Queen is crowned. I'm probably the only queen in the history of SLHTA to have a 2-year reign. So let's see who can top that. The experience was one that was not like any experience that I've had being a former pageant queen in the past. SLHTA is definitely a different platform from the conventional Carnival Queen show or other beauty pageants. SLHTA is more an ambassadorial platform for the ladies to really represent the various jobs that they do within the hotel and tourism industry, and really providing the general public an insight into what it is that we do. A lot of times we take for granted how important the jobs that we hold are towards boosting St. Lucia's economy and ensuring that the #1 sector for St. Lucia thrives and will continue to thrive in the future. So SLHTA is really a grouping of all those various aspects of tourism, from tours and excursions to the hotels themselves, restaurants and bars and so on, that come together to be a united front to ensure that St. Lucia thrives, not only now but in the years to come, because we know how volatile the tourism industry is. We will see how my pageant career progresses. I've been doing pageants from ever since I was 8 years old. I hold a very high track record of winning because I'm an extremely competitive person. But if I am no longer in the capacity of a contestant, perhaps I can offer my expertise as possibly a chaperone or a pageant coach to help guide along the young ladies who will be following in the footsteps of myself and the ladies who have gone before me. So probably not a contestant anymore, but definitely in the capacity of assistance for the young ladies.